My colleague and I, Karina Cordera, are going to present on a grant we've received to investigate water quality in Biscayne Bay and mostly in the canals. Okay, so as we've heard all morning and some of the afternoon, Biscayne Bay is incredibly important to our economy, our quality of life. I won't run through the numbers, you can read them for yourself. I expect everybody here can read. But we've seen some challenges recently. Pollutants, we've had chronic problems over time, but we've had a couple of seagrass die-offs in recent years. We've seen fish kills and, ongoing problems over time. So we received a grant from the FDEP to characterize water quality, especially, in the canals, and try to find sources and basically characterize the water quality. Our partners include Dr. Garninali, Dr. Josefina Olascoaga, Peter Swart, Drs. Gidley and Siliganiano, who have graced us with our presence today. So we're collaborating with local experts for this characterization. So the main point is primarily to identify and quantify the sources of pollution and also determine where they go. And we'll look at things like nutrients, heavy metals, bacterial source trafficking, stable isotopes, and also trace chemicals, chemicals associated, things like PFAS and microplastics, some of these types of things. I don't think you all are scientists, so in terms of stable isotopes, that's simply elements have different forms, so nitrogen, carbon have different isotopes, and the ratio of one isotope to the other can tell you things like where on the food web, the food chain you are. So the higher on as you didn't know, we're the highest on the food chain. So if we see certain ratios, it's more information that says, it's associated with us. Okay. Also, we're trying to develop a 3D circulation model. So part of the intent is not only to determine the quantity and the source, but where it ends up. All right. So one of the one of the tasks, the grant, let me go back. So the grant is broken up into these tasks. Task 1 and 2 had to do with developing a co-op and some administrative things. Here we're going to focus on 3 through 8. And I already spoke about number 3, so we'll proceed to number 4. Number 4 is part of our technologies. It's smart covers. So these smart covers are can be installed in wastewater or stormwater manholes, and they detect differences in the water levels. So if the water level downstream is vastly different from the one upstream, it can tell you there's something wrong in the system. It sends a signal to our utilities to let them know, hey, there's a problem, and go out quickly and respond to it before you get a major discharge, a sanitary sewer overflow. And that, by the way, is part of Gallo's job. Thank you, Gallo. So between 2 phases, 426 smart covers have been installed throughout the county. These units, as I mentioned, real-time information on the differential water levels and help to prevent sanitary sewer overflows. So our division, RER DERM, is now the 5th largest entity in the nation using smart cover technology. Thank you. I won't take any credit for it. No. Okay. Task 5 is education and outreach, and this is primarily employed in the Little River adoption area. So if you unfamiliar, the Little River C7 feeds into the Julia Tuttle Basin. A lot of septic tanks in there, a lot of other issues in the basin. Chronic flooding because they are areas of low elevation. You have the combination of high water table, low elevation with a septic tank. Not a good situation. Okay, so task 6 is septic to sewer conversion. And here are the primary areas where we're focusing on that effort. And basically, the areas with septic tank, you put in the utility lines, the sanitary sewer line, and then you get the residents to connect, to abandon their septic tank and connect. Well, unfortunately, there comes at quite a cost to the homeowner, so we're trying to make it easier, make it less expensive for them to connect to the regional system. It's part of this grant. And task 7 has to do with innovative stormwater technologies. I'll turn that over to my more knowledgeable colleague, Karina.
Thank you, Omar. So I'm the engineer for Water Resources Division in Miami-Dade County. And for task 7, this effort was mainly on some stormwater projects, mainly to incorporate some innovative technologies. We have one of them of course, in strategic locations. One of them is our SOP inlet screen and filter baskets. So they mainly catch leaves and vegetations that may enter the stormwater systems. But something that's unique about this, it's the fact that it has a QR code and it allows community engagement. So the schedules for them to clean out these baskets sometimes may fall behind in certain areas since they get filled quicker than in others. And by having some communities respond to that, it allows for that turnaround time to be faster. Here we have the FABCO storm basin. So these pretty much are some cartridge filtration systems. They have media inside that remove pollutants. And there's a feasibility to it because it kind of is like a cartridge. You twist it, open it up, remove the filtration, and replace. So there's an ease to it. And then the trash itself is removed by a vac truck. And then for the EcoVault unit, it provides separation when the water comes in. It allows the water to slow down its flow. So therefore, the debris sediments are able to settle. And also on the top, it has a screen, and there it picks up the leaves, debris, and it doesn't interact with the water. So therefore, you don't have all of the vegetation just sitting on water and creating more pollution. By the way, for many of these technologies, there's a very key component in that it has to be maintained. Technologies are great, but you have to maintain them or they're not going to work to its capacity, like our car, exactly. So here we have a jellyfish. Something that is great about this technology, again, it also uses filtration media to remove different type of pollutants, but it has a very sleek profile, so you don't need a lot of area in order to be able to incorporate it. And it also has a high flow bypass. The filters are reusable, so that's another perk to it. You're able to clean them out and then reuse them, and then the replacement time gives you a little bit more extent on the filters, which is 2 to 5 years. And the hydro screens, they also capture sediments, trash and solids, and these work under low conditions, so they don't need a lot of profile, so they can work in areas of high groundwater as well as flat drainage profiles. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Karina. Okay, so quickly we move on to task 8, biological restoration. We're running out of time, so I'll just quickly say we have some shoreline restoration projects along the causeways. We're putting in a sponge restoration along this causeway. And here are some examples of where, we captured sponges, and there's a living shoreline document. I'm going to have to skip over most of this, but here are some examples of some shoreline projects that we've incorporated. And we want to, again, thank the DEP for providing us with the funding to go through for this grant. Thank you.